You think you know the Vatican, smallest country in the world, right? Well, it also holds an incredible amount of history, power, and, of course, secrets. For 2,000 years, it's been the center of the Catholic world. But behind those sacred walls lie mysteries that have driven people wild for centuries. So today, we're going to dive in and explore some of the biggest secrets the Vatican might just be hiding.
Okay, just look at this number for a second. 53 miles. Let that sink in. That's like running 2 full marathons, back to back. So what on earth could that number possibly represent inside the Vatican?
Get this, that is the length of the shelving in the Vatican's archives. 53 miles of shelves, packed to the gills with documents and records collected over more than 1,200 years. The scale is it's almost impossible to get your head around.
But beyond all the official paperwork, that massive archive just makes you wonder, right? What are the real secrets? The ones they aren't telling us about. That's what we're here to get into.
All right, so let's start with the archive itself. For centuries, its name was literally the Vatican Secret Archive. I mean, a name like that just screams forbidden knowledge and hidden truths, doesn't it? But what does secret actually mean here?
So, the official Latin name is Archivum Secretum. Now, you hear secretum and you think secret, but it's not quite right. The true Latin meaning is closer to private or personal. It's the Pope's private collection. But let's be honest, when something is kept private for hundreds of years, that's the perfect place for secrets to hide.
Officially, the archives hold exactly what you'd expect: state papers, account books, letters between world leaders. But the theories about what's really in there are way more interesting. We're talking about records of actual miracles, knowledge from civilizations we thought were lost to history, and, get this, some researchers are convinced there's proof of extraterrestrial contact locked away in there. With 53 miles of shelves, you gotta ask, what haven't they shown us?
And that takes us from secrets on paper to secrets you can hold in your hand. The Vatican is basically a museum for some of Christianity's most sacred relics, but some theories say it's also hiding artifacts that are far, far more mysterious.
How about this for a big one? Could the legendary Ark of the Covenant, the chest that supposedly holds the actual 10 Commandments, be tucked away somewhere deep inside the Vatican? It's probably the most famous lost artifact of all time, and for a lot of people, the Vatican is the #1 suspect for where it's hiding.
So here's the thinking. The Ark basically just disappears from history around 587 BC. Poof, gone. But why the Vatican? Well, the biblical description of the Ark sounds an awful lot like ceremonial chests from ancient Egypt. And seriously, think about it. What other organization has the power, the security, and the motivation to protect something like that for millennia? The Church's official position on it is complete silence. And that, of course, just adds fuel to the fire.
And hey, if the Ark is there, it's got some pretty amazing company. The Vatican openly says it holds fragments of the true cross from the crucifixion, and even a set of bones they believe belong to St. Peter himself, the very first pope. It's kind of their thing, collecting sacred and mysterious objects.
This brings us to maybe the wildest category of secrets. Not things, but ideas. Forbidden knowledge. We're talking about texts and technologies that were supposedly suppressed and hidden away from all of us for centuries.
14. There's that number again. What could 14 possibly represent in a place so steeped in religious history? Any guesses? That's the number of books in a collection called the Apocrypha, which were literally taken out of the original King James Bible. These texts were once considered Holy Scripture, so why did they get the axe? Some argue they didn't quite fit the official narrative, which suggests the Bible we read today might be an edited, maybe even incomplete version of the original.
And if you think missing books are a big deal, brace yourself. Have you ever heard of the chronovisor? The story is that a secret team of Vatican scientists built a device that could view events from the past. A priest even claimed he'd used it to witness the crucifixion of Christ. I know, it sounds nuts. But the Vatican's response? They've never confirmed it, but crucially, they've never denied it either, leaving this incredible story just hanging in the realm of possibility.
Of course, not all secrets are ancient relics or sci-fi tech. Some are much more modern, and they involve the kind of stuff you see in movies: power, money, and maybe even murder. These are the scandals that cast very long shadows.
So get this, in 1978, Pope John Paul I is elected. People are excited. He's seen as a reformer. Just 33 days later, he's found dead. The official story about his death was a mess of contradictions. And the biggest red flag of all? The Vatican flat out refused an autopsy. A new reform-minded pope dies that fast, that mysteriously? Well, you can imagine what people started thinking. And here's the potential motive.
John Paulo is apparently getting ready to clean house, and his #1 target was the Vatican Bank. At the time, the bank was neck-deep in scandals involving money laundering and ties to some really shady characters. Many believe he was about to expose the entire corrupt network and was silenced before he had the chance.
For our last section, we're going to look at secrets that aren't locked away at all. In fact, they're hidden in plain sight, woven right into the art and architecture of the Vatican for anyone to see, if you know what you're looking for. Take a look at the Pope's hat, the mitre. Now look at the headgear on the right. That was worn by priests of Dagon, the ancient Babylonian fish god. The shape is, well, it's pretty much identical. Is that just a coincidence? Or is it a symbol that was absorbed from a much, much older pagan religion? And this is absolutely wild. Right in the middle of St. Peter's Square stands a massive Egyptian obelisk. This thing is over 3,000 years old, and it comes from Heliopolis, an ancient city dedicated to sun worship. So you have this huge, powerful pagan symbol standing right at the very heart of Catholicism. And it doesn't stop there. In a main Vatican courtyard, you'll find this giant bronze pine cone. In tons of ancient cultures, Egyptian, Roman, Greek, the pine cone was a symbol of spiritual enlightenment and the third eye. So the question is, why are all these potent pagan symbols given places of honor all over the Vatican?
When you put it all together, the massive private archive, the mysterious relics, the forbidden knowledge, and all these symbols hiding in plain sight, you start to see the Vatican as a place built layer by layer. It's built on faith, sure, but also on power and on centuries and centuries of secrets.
Which really just leaves you with one final question. From the bones of saints to rumors of time machines, the Vatican is an absolute treasure trove of mysteries. But the biggest question of all has to be this. After 2,000 years, what secrets have yet to see the light of day?